A very interesting question came up in a recent post of mine, and somebody asked, Esper, what would you do if you were the one, running the ship over at Wizards of the Coast, specifically with D&D? What would I do if I were in charge of D&D? And then I brought this question up again in the Roll for Combat live stream with Mark Seifter and Derek Melinda a few days after it. But I wanted to talk about it in this video here because it's been a very thought-provoking question, and it's made me really ponder and consider, what would I do if I were in that position, right? If I were the leader of the D&D brand, I was the one calling the shots and was the one who had the main say in the direction of Dungeons and Dragons. And you yourself might be wondering, what would I do? What would you do? Please leave comments down below. I'd be curious to hear what changes other people would make. But I really put quite a bit of thought into this. It's been turning my mental gears for a few days. I thought through what my first 4 steps would be, the first 4 major things that I would do. So I'll lay them out, steps 1 through 4. All right, so the first step I call mindset, aka the pilgrimage. So if I were in charge of D&D, the first thing that would hit me is that this is a tremendous responsibility. There's so much weight and pressure and so much at stake here. This is really, really big. This is actually bigger than just me. I think it's even bigger than any mere mortal. So the first thing that I need to do really is a personal spiritual step to get myself into the right mindset. Since this is far beyond me, I first need to orient myself to that which is greatest, that which is eternal. I need to take something of a small pilgrimage. If I want to get D&D out of the ravaged wastelands and into a thriving land, I need to first get my own mental state into a properly healthy direction. So where do I go on my pilgrimage? I'm going to go to a natural site, like a site in nature, somewhere that has beautiful, majestic, inspiring nature. Then I'm going to go to a historical site, maybe some, old castle or maybe like an island fortress that was some key historical battle from ancient times or medieval times, somewhere that has great historical significance. Then I'll go to an artistic site, probably some kind of amazing museum, somewhere that holds a large amount of, say, like paintings and sculptures and like some of the greatest works of human artistic expression. Then I'll go to a religious site, probably some kind of beautiful old cathedral. Basically, what I'm trying to do on this pilgrimage is go to places that are beautiful, that are inspiring, that are solemn, and that are places of great reverence. I'm certainly not opposed to having a little element of punk in D&D and tabletop games. Actually, I think that's a good thing, to not get too lofty and to have that little bit of a raw edge in there. But I don't want to lead with that. That needs to be like a spice that gets added in later on. I think to start off at the get-go, I need to go to places where I can listen, I can take in the inspiration, I can behold fantastic works, I can behold majestic nature, I can behold, this like ancient mythic tradition of man's quest to reach a higher level, right? That's what we're trying to do here, level up. Another way to put this is this first step is I'm trying to orient myself in the best way possible to undertake a responsibility of immense proportions. If I want to lead the world's biggest role-playing game, the least I can do is try to align my spirit with the spirit of mythic adventure. The second step that I would take as the leader of D&D is to begin rebuilding trust and respect. So how do you do that? How do you gain trust and respect? Well, to gain people's trust is, first of all, you need to be trustworthy. You need to speak the truth. You need to say things openly and in an honest way. You need to help people. You need to provide them resources and value, as much value as possible. You have to show them again and again and again and continually earn and maintain people's trust that you are here to be honest with them, to deal with them fairly, to help them, to provide to them something which is of value. You have to demonstrate through your words and your actions that they can depend on you, that you have integrity. That's the foundation. That is the social foundation right there. That is the core building block of all social interaction, of all friendships, of business, of relationships, everything. Respect. You have to show respect. You have to be respectful to others, and you have to be respectable. You have to act in a way which earns people's respect or admiration to whatever degree. I'll give you some specifics on this point. I think I will say publicly to everyone, D&D has gotten messy. Things have gotten messy. There's been a lot of mucking around. Things have been mishandled. Now, it hasn't all been mishandled. There's good in there along with the bad. It's this big, messy, complicated tangle that we're in. There have been missteps of many kinds, and we are now wanting to turn the page. We want to turn to a new era, a new chapter in Dungeons and Dragons. And part of this is we will stop messing around in politics or politically charged social trends. Stop forcing that stuff into D&D. We are going to focus just on making a great game. People can figure out their own politics, their own religions. They can make up their own minds on these things. We are going to focus on D&D. If there's any politics, it's going to be politics inside the game world where it's like, two kingdoms warring against each other and there are the intrigues to tell a great story. We're not going to be forcing a real world, modern day social trends and politics and activism and ideologies into this mythic ancient fantasy world. Now, there are some people who say, well, there's always politics in it. Everything is political. And when you say, I don't want politics, really what you're saying is, I don't want the politics that I don't like, but I do want to put in the politics that I do like. I completely reject that. I think that's a bogus, false statement. I mean, no real world politics. I don't care if it's left wing, right wing, whatever. That is not what we're here for. We are here for making great adventures, great world building, inspiring lore, characters who win our hearts, awesome villains and monsters that the heroes can go and battle against. Or maybe sometimes the players will want to take on those darker roles and see what is it like to be this kind of monstrous force in the fantasy world. The focus is on things that are higher than politics. We're talking about the artistic endeavor, the mythic tradition that we're all a part of, the social interaction that gives us some kind of common ground that is greater than the arguing and quibbling over political things. Here's another point of respect. We will respect the game designers and the many generations of gamers that got us to this point. They laid the groundwork. They had some fantastic ideas. We only have what we have because of them. We are going to act in good faith and show respect to these people, and we're not going to betray them. We're not going to betray them by mocking or cannibalizing the lore and the worlds and the legacy that means so much to so many people. We are going to respect the fantasy worlds that got us to where we are here, that laid the foundation. Everything from Greyhawk and Blackmoor to Ravenloft, Dragonlance, even Forgotten Realms, all of that. They have been mishandled, exploited, mistreated. We are going to stop that. In fact, we're going to take a break from those settings for a while. We'll come back to them in due time, but out of respect, we're going to just give that a break. We're going to pause on those worlds. We have some messes that we need to clean up first before we go and mess around with things that have long-running legacies. And that leads to the third step, a new campaign setting. We're going to develop and introduce a new campaign setting. It's not connected to any other setting. It's not connected to any kind of multiverse. There are not infinite worlds and infinite timelines and endless crossovers with other IPs. No, it's just this one setting that we're going to focus on it and give it crafting and care and make it its own discrete, unique thing. You can play whichever version of 5e you want, whether you like the 2014 version, the 2024, a blending of the two, whatever. It's 5e, it's going to fit for whatever rules variation you prefer at your table. We are going to hire a team of highly talented artists and writers to help develop this world. We're going to focus a lot on the artists and the writers, and we want people that are highly talented, that have styles, that have vision, that have a sense of depth, that have an appreciation for history. We need to put passion back into the game, passion and identity into this setting. So we're going to be looking for, first and foremost, quality, talent, depth, someone who actually has style. And when I talk about style, I can say a lot about this. Well, for one, it's not going to be chasing after whatever is trendy and hot at the moment. It's not going to be trying to imitate pop culture. It's not going to be what we've unfortunately seen D&D do for many years by this point, which is like this parasitic vampire that's like trying to keep up with what's cool with the kids and be this like trend follower that's like trying to milk off of whatever's in pop culture. Instead, we are going to get back to being the pioneer. We are the ones that are going to endeavor forward with a vision. That's how D&D got started. That's how Magic the Gathering got started. Those were visionary, groundbreaking designers, artists, writers. They also paid respect to the lineage, to the great heritage of adventure and medieval history and ancient folklore and myth. But the new setting is not pop culture. It does not look like modern day America cosplay. It doesn't look like anime. It doesn't look like something that's marketed to little children. It doesn't look cutesy. This is an old world, a mythic world full of wonder and mystery and fantasy. We want to get swept away in a fantastic setting of imagination and adventure. We don't want something that's just basically the D&D equivalent of Pepsi and McDonald's. In terms of the art direction and the illustration, what we really need to do is go back and go forward at the same time. There's kind of these two directions that have so much good there. Really the problem right now with D&D is the art style is very mediocre. It's very medium, can't really say much, and just has this like vague, broad as possible appeal to the masses. So on the one hand, we need artists who are going to carry the torch forward from the fantastic painters in old school D&D, like the Caldwell, Easley, Brom, those sorts of amazing painters. Continue in that lineage. Those are some of the greatest illustrations of all time in D&D. And then also press forward, find some new artists who have style and vision. I want, once again, for people to be able to look at the illustrations in D&D books and be able to recognize, oh, that's a piece from that artist, and that's a piece from that artist. And people can actually follow the artist's work and be excited again to discover artists and see what new pieces they've developed. The art needs that again, the guts, the heart, the soul, not this kind of nameless, generic, who knows who the artists are style. The art needs to evoke, this is a world of danger and everything is at stake, instead of what we have nowadays, which is sort of like cosplay convention meets haha magic tea party. Another point in the new campaign setting is that we need some characters in this setting. Some great characters, NPCs, heroes, legends, villains, gods, demons, all of that. We need some great ones that actually have a personality, a style, goals, writing. We need to be able to know who they are. We need people to actually feel like, whoa, there are some incredible characters in this setting. These characters will appear in the books, in the illustrations, and the flavor text, and like the lore bits, and they will also appear in the adventure modules too. The setting needs to actually have some characters who we know who they are, and they capture our imaginations and win our hearts and fuel and drive adventure motivations. And there needs to be lore. We need lore back in the game. You know, the stories, the depth, the adventure hooks, the details and the ecologies that bring it all to life, the part that actually gives us a story to begin with, that gives us the motivation. For too long now, lore has either been evaporated and erased, or it's been twisted and mutated into something that's kind of unrecognizable. There needs to be lore, there needs to be a bit more of it, and it needs to have depth and power. And my fourth step as the leader of D&D is we need to facilitate gaming communities. We need to actually support and help people to play the game, to get connected with groups, to go on great adventures. And this could be brick and mortar stores, high schools, universities, Discord communities, all of that. Help them, show them the tools to help get connected, show them how to organize and arrange and how to schedule, give them free modules, great adventures that they can go ahead and play, and the prep work has been mostly done for them. Help people connect with each other and find groups and dungeon masters and actually play the game. D&D is a complex game, and it takes real sacrifices in order to organize it, prepare it, and play it. So we need to help people and give them solutions, give them tools, give them resources, help them to actually play the game instead of spending so long just in this endless hamster wheel talking about D&D, speculating about D&D, theory crafting and analyzing it. We need to foster and nurture communities of gamers. We need to help people actually play the game. So why these initial 4 steps? Why would this be my approach? Okay, let's recap them first. First step, mindset. I need to get myself into the proper mindset in order to take on the responsibility of this solemn quest of tremendous importance. Second, rebuild respect and trust. We need to gain back and earn back gamers' trust in the D&D brand. Third, a new campaign setting. We need a new campaign setting that is a fresh slate. It's classic in many ways, but it's also a fresh slate that has vision to move forward. And its focus is on high quality. It is driven primarily by passionate, talented artists, writers, game designers. It is not driven by corporate vampires who are leeching off of pop culture. And 4, help communities of gamers. Provide them support, tools, free adventures. So why would I choose these first 4 steps if I were in charge of D&D? Well, I have 2 reasons. The first reason is that I truly believe that this would be the best long-term healthy strategy for the game. I believe it would reorient things to get D&D out of the muck and help reunite all the gamers with that spirit of mythic adventure that won everybody's hearts to begin with. And my second reason is that this is actually what I'm already doing. These steps are already my approach that I already implement. It's true to me, the mindset and the spiritual orientation, to treat this as something that's valuable, meaningful, important, to pay great respect to this grand mythic tradition that we're all a part of and that's also bigger than us. The focus on trust. I constantly am thinking about how can I give people more value? How can I serve people better? How can I be more truthful? How can I build more trust and help other people to be trustworthy themselves? How can I spread this value that's like this wonderful foundational essence that allows us to come together and do great things? I have created a campaign setting. It's called Myriad Legends. It's set in the world of Ikoros. And the focus is first and foremost on quality, on great adventures, on that artistic passion, on having a vision, on having depth of lore, and the community aspect. I've actually been facilitating a community for a year now. We, me, and everyone in the community have a living world campaign. And that's been ongoing and growing and developing for a year now. And we plan to keep it going and see what it becomes, what it might turn into. It's set in this Myriad Legends campaign setting, and the focus is on helping people find how to play D&D. It's a free community. We're all doing it out of love, out of contribution, to be a part of this fantastic campaign setting. And this helps people, it facilitates the game. It helps them with scheduling, with organizing, with having a world to find a place in and find the adventure hooks, how to find good quality game masters, great adventures. I'm trying to help people so we can come together and play this game more easily, more readily. If anything that I have said to you in this video resonates with you, you are warmly welcomed. I encourage you, please, I cannot do this alone. You can join my Discord. From time to time, I will make calls for new players and new game masters to be a part of the Living World campaign. We're always trying to grow it. Or you can back my current Kickstarter. It's a campaign that takes place in this setting. And there are also additional books of mine available as like add-ons and bundles. So there's a whole bunch going on with that Kickstarter. Or you can support the channel on Patreon. You not only help me to keep producing so much content and doing this work, but you get some great rewards, newsletters, maps, monthly drawings. Links for everything are down below. And again, you all are warmly welcomed in whatever way you want to be a part of this. I am not perfect, but I do my best to be a good leader. I give you my word, solemnly from the bottom of my heart, that I care deeply and tremendously about tabletop role-playing games and about the spirit of adventure, the mythic tradition, as I like to call it. I pour my heart and soul into all of my work, and I'm willing to make the sacrifice to provide as much value as I can to you all. So a bardic bow of gratitude to you all. Thanks for watching, everybody. May your adventures be many.